Good evening and welcome to Amy Park on Wurundjeri land for this final match of round 21 of the Isuzu UTE A-League. Last season's grand finalists for the last two seasons. As a matter of fact, Melbourne Victory are at home to Macarthur. Last season's Australia Cup winners for the second time and bundled out of Asia a month and a half ago. Both these two sides sitting in and around finals football. For Melbourne Victory, they come into this one sitting fifth. They can take fourth place off Adelaide with a win this evening. They're 5 without loss in the A-League, but have drawn their last two. For Macarthur, including a loss and a draw against Bangkok United that saw them out of the AFC ACL2 competition in the last 16. They are winless in their last 5 in the A-League. They have lost their last 3 on the bounce, scoring just 1 goal in that time. But the ray of hope, a win if they can stop the rot and turn things around this evening, will see them leapfrog the Central Coast Mariners and climb back into the top 6. To do that, they will have to overcome a Juan Mata-inspired Melbourne Victory at home at Amy Park on this Sunday evening.
When the night has come and the land is dark,
there is the famous number 64. Melbourne Victory have won 6, lost 3 and drawn 2 of the 11 previous meetings between these two sides, as we have a look at how they line up this evening. 3 changes for Arthur Dillis. Jason Davidson is out with a flu, so Franco Lino makes his first start of the season on loan from Norwegian side Viking, while Claris Mario Santos heads to the bench. Alongside Jordi Valadon in midfield, Denny Jonro also returns to the starting 11 at the expense of Xavier Stella in midfield. And the final change is in attack, where Charles Nduka, scorer off the bench last weekend against Sydney FC, he's back in for Nikos Virgos. Big night for Denny Jonro, the 28-year-old Paris-born Socceroo. He was a member of Macarthur's inaugural season, the 2021 campaign. 23 matches, 2 goals, and a Macarthur Player of the Year award as well. That sent him on his way to Europe for the next 5 seasons before returning with Melbourne Victory. For his former club Macarthur, 2 changes for Mile Sturjovski, both of them enforced. All-time leading appearance maker, Polish goalkeeper Filip Kurto returns for Alex Robinson, sent off last weekend, and also receiving a red card last weekend. Tommy Uskok is also suspended, so Liam Rose comes in for him, most likely in the centre of defence. Caceres dropping alongside Bratton, and then that front 3 sitting just behind Mitch Duke in attack. There are goals in that lineup and also goals on the bench with Economides and Sawyer. And just like Denny Jonro is Victory's former Macarthur man and the French connection, well, Damien De Silva, the Bordeaux-born 37-year-old, spent 18 months at Melbourne Victory, 42 appearances, 5 goals between January 2023 and the end of the 23-24 campaign. 2 Melbourne Victory Player of the Year awards for him in that time as well. Yet to score for Macarthur since joining at the start of this campaign. There is Arthur Dillis. He's bullish in his pre-match press conferences, talking about a side that just needs to put the ball in the back of the net but can be counted on. They have opened the scoring in their last 5 matches in the A-League, but only managed to win 2 of them. Mile Sturjovski, well, as a player, he enjoyed playing against Melbourne Victory. 4 of his 19 A-League goals came against the Navy Blues, an equal best haul for him, alongside Brisbane Roar. Our referee this evening is Sean Evans. He's being assisted by Ashley Beecham and Astro Sakalis. Jonathan Barrero is the 4th official. And in the VAR room, it's Alex King and Sam Kelly. Mitch Duke, back in January, was expecting a longer run in Asia, probably. Likewise, the winter signings of Anthony Caceres, Rafael Duran in the starting lineup again. On a weekend that saw Auckland defeat the Newcastle Jets 2-1 and officially launch the final sprint finish for the Premier's Plate. The final match of the round sees two more sides that would like to be in that conversation. For Melbourne Victory, fourth place is on offer if they can overcome a Macarthur side. And for them, Eric Partaloo, it really is the last chance saloon for the Bulls.
Yeah, good evening, Robbie, and to all our viewers. It's a great night for football here in Melbourne, as we see one Macarthur getting the little early touch there. Here they come, the victory early on. But you're right, Robbie, it's a massive game. And for Melbourne Victory, they've had a big month. The derby, the original rivalry, the big blue, all back to back to back. So this game's got banana skin written all over it. And if you're a club like Melbourne Victory, you just cannot get up for the so-called branded big games. They've got to have an elite mentality to try and get further away from that 5th position, which they're in now, and what they finished last season. So we're in for a cracking contest.
Well, it has been one of the narratives this week in the lead up to this, a Melbourne Victory side that shows up for the big games this season, but perhaps hasn't been exacting maximum points from the bread and butter matches. As here is Keegan Jelassic. Interesting seeing the crowd for this evening's match, because it is 7 p.m. on a Sunday night, but it is not the biggest crowd. And perhaps Melbourne Victory and their supporters showing up for the big games at the moment.
Well, it was Rafa Duran there showing up for the Bulls, copping one straight in the stomach, and they're going to need a lot of this tonight. We talk about the end of the season becoming the business end of the season, and the experienced players stepping up. Macarthur Bulls have got a whole team full of experience, and they're having a wretched run at the moment. 3 losses in a row. It's got to change tonight, and it's got to come from the experienced players.
Here's Valadon with Rawlins. Nice first touch for Jelassic. Gets it back. Early cross to the back post. Valupale arriving. Callum Talbot did well. Vickery closing down the space. As expected. More of a 4-2-3-1 formation for Macarthur. Counter-attacking, counter-punching style as Matters ball in for Nduka. That was a really good ball in, and perhaps Nduka will feel he should have done a little bit better. Rawlins with Genre. Valadon, little knockdown for Jelassic. Onto that dangerous left foot. Curto didn't see it. Matter back in, blocked by De Silva. Victory so close to breaking the deadlock in the opening 3 minutes. And they're still on the front foot here. Valupale with the press to try and win it back after perhaps giving it away a little too cheaply.
You've just got to love watching the Spaniard in action. First of the ball coming in and identifying where he could go and get space and get on the ball. Then it was Jelassic going through the legs of Liam Rose, and that's a really tidy save from Philip Curto, who's not been his very best for Macarthur this season. That's going to do him the world of good.
Well, he had a couple of subpar performances, Philip Curto, including in that 2-2 draw with Bangkok United that saw the club. It was a massive ambition of the club to go deep into the ACL2 competition. Curto had a very despondent figure leaving the ground. Oh, as Jack Rashawski almost gave it away there to Duran. It's a good run from Nduka, who is quick. It's a nice first touch as well. And now Jelassic takes over. The shot from Valupale. Did it take a deflection? It did. Corner, another one coming for Melbourne Victory, who are looking very dangerous at the moment in attack.
How much has Charles Nduka changed the complexion of this front line? That ball from Rawlins just looked up and knew that Charles Nduka was going to make a forward run. And how well does he do just to try and get 3 or 4 defenders around him? Velupale's looked sharp. He almost got on the end of that one.
Keegan Jelassic to deliver, near post. Esposito was there, Velupale still. Oh, he had Rawlins calling for it. It's Callum Talbot who leads the race away with Mitchell Duke. Closed down by Franco Lino, who recovers to get the better of Duke, along with the help of Denny Jonro and Rawlins. Jonro did well. Just a second start for Melbourne victory for Franco Lino, a first appearance of this season since arriving on loan from Norwegian side Viking. There he is, the big-framed number 18, just 19 years of age. Made only 6 appearances between November 2023 and January even, 2024, before heading overseas. Just the one start in that period. It was a rapid rise for Franco Lino. We'll see how he goes this evening in his return for the Navy Blue.
Some really good intensity to start this game in the middle of the park. Lots of balls bouncing around. It hasn't settled down yet, as Melbourne victory look to try and get their danger players on there, and they have quite a few. Really good, tidy footballers in tight spaces. Here's another one. Jelassic winning a foul.
Walter Scott, back-to-back fouls for him. The left back. Matt Yeoman is on the bench this evening. No Tommy Uscock, sent off last weekend, just when it looked as though perhaps they were back into the game against the Mariners after Anthony Caceres's goal, as Denny Jonro, he hasn't cleared that as he would have liked. Duran putting the Socceroo under pressure. Liam Rose was Uscock's replacement in the centre of defence, winning that one well against Nduka. Cleared by Damien De Silva. Playing against his former club for the first time. He wasn't there when Macarthur drew 0-0 with Melbourne victory earlier this season. Had a couple of injury problems, but what an impact he made at Melbourne victory 2 years ago. One season back in the French second flight before coming back. He loved it so much in Australia. Here's Wachowski looking long. It's a good ball as well for Velupale. One for Nduka to chase. He's quick. Liam Rose certainly gives that central defence a little more pace at the back, but it's not traditionally the fastest, Macarthur, in defence. Here is Liam Rose. They look to settle things down a little bit. De Silva. Furthest man forward, Juan Mata, for Melbourne victory, playing as that second striker, a player that leads the press, drops back, comes and looks for the ball, makes things happen. See him cutting off the options there to Luke Bratton, so they're forced wide with Talbot. And Jordi Valadon wins it back. Franco Lino, a little 1-2 with Mata. Lino still going. Bundled off the ball by Bratton. Oh, De Silva, that's given away cheaply. And given straight back again to Velupale. Macarthur inviting pressure at the moment. And still they come. Oh, has Lino been caught there? He has. And it's a first booking after just 8.5 minutes for Callum Talbot.
You could feel something was coming there, because both teams guilty of giving the ball away and having to lunge into things and trying to flick things around the corner. It's really good from Lino there just to try and bring Talbot towards him. And they get themselves a free kick. But yeah, Macarthur are playing an interesting formation tonight. It's almost like a 4-2-4. So they're not going to be able to play from the back into the middle a lot. They've got to try and miss that line and also miss Melbourne victory's press.
Mata and Jelassic standing over the free kick. It is Juan Mata, ball front post. Again, Esposito almost got there. Jelassic back with Jordi Valadon. Mata wants it. You can see him just waiting patiently out on the left wing. Took a a little while to bring the ball under control. That allowed Vickery to close down the space, and Curto claims the ball for Macarthur. Big night for Philip Curto at the back for Macarthur. This evening, as he gets it back again. Match number 145 for Macarthur. He's the leader in that respect for the Bulls. He has to play all of the remaining matches this season to bring up the 150 on round 26. Of course, if they make finals, which they'll be hoping for, that will buy him an extra couple of weeks. Jelassic gets in behind the cutback. Oh, it's an own goal! And it's the former victory man. Returning to Amy Park, who once again has the victory fans up on their feet. But it's not a goal he will celebrate with them. An own goal from Damian De Silva. And Melbourne Victory's pressure is told early.
The front line just moves so well here. On the Harvey Norman replay, it's that forward run from Jelassic, and he put it into an area in a really dangerous position across the 6-yard box, and there's not a lot you can do once you go to ground as a defender. It was going to make its way through to Charles Nduka. That ball there, the outside run to inside, is so effective, and Jelassic has been doing it so well in the last couple of weeks, and that's why he's kept his place in the side. De Silva, he scored the bulk of his A-League goals here at Amy Park. It's in the wrong net.
The last one was a derby winner back in 2024, so he left a good memory. Unfortunately for Bulls fans, they haven't seen him have the same impact this season. Consummate professional, 37 years of age now. Mind you, we are seeing more and more examples of players, particularly defenders, playing long into their careers. Mata, there's another example of a playmaker who's had his ankles clipped there by Bratton. Genro goes again. Denny Genro got the better of Caceres. He gave away a penalty last week. He won't want to do that again. Well played, Mitchell Duke. Lovely hold-up play. Now Duran on the charge. Bosniak. He's got Vickery at the right. The ball in towards Bosniak. Can't find him though. Vickery keeps it in on that far side. Macarthur looking to hit back immediately with Bratton. Ball back in. It's well played. Bosniak needs to find Mitch Duke. Oh, his little flick just took it away from Rafa Duran. Victory escape. End-to-end stuff, because here come Victory now. Jelassic, the right side of Scott. Jelassic looking for options. Oh, and that wasn't one of them. Juan Mata wanted it towards the back post.
Yeah, he had two opportunities there to shoot. But how good's this play from Mitch Duke? There's not a lot to work with at times in that front line, and the hold-up play was exceptional. And then Duran, there was an option to cut it back or play it in front. And possibly he could have even kept going. And this little flick there, it just needed to communicate earlier, the Mexican.
Well, that own goal from De Silva has sparked Macarthur into life at least. They can't afford another defeat here. They can't afford to go 6 without a win. 4 defeats in a row as the cross back in from Jelassic. Valadon and Duka. Here come Victory again. Valadon! Did that get a touch from Curto? No, goal kick. And he's getting closer and closer to that first ever A-League goal, Jordi Valadon.
Sharp as attack, Valadon. Look how high he's getting himself as well, playing that deep lying midfielder, and that was absolutely moving. Curto, he saw it all the way, but I do not think he had that covered.
Another chance for Macarthur to just suck in some deep breaths. Curto. Bratton with the glancing header. Sebastian Esposito. That's come off Jelassic. Walter Scott Looks long towards Bosniak. It's over Esposito. Mitch Duke is there. He's been fouled. A little bit clumsy from Esposito, a little too close.
It's one of Mitch Duke's absolute trademarks. Hold the ball up, wait for contact, look at him there, and go down with the contact. It's really smart play because Macarthur love to cross the ball, and they've got Luke Bratton here going to swing something in, but they've only scored from the one corner this year, which tells a tale about how they're not scoring with their head. This is a very similar position to a corner, and I just wonder if they've got something different up their sleeve.
Just 4 goals from set pieces all season, 2 of them penalties. Bratton delivers. Here's Talbot with Vickery. 2 goals in Asia for Vickery, 3 more in the A-League, his first season with Macarthur. Here's Caceres. Back with Scott, Talbot, and Vickery again. Caceres wanted it into feet. Vickery taking on Rawlins, gets the cross in. Rafa Duran was setting himself for the bicycle kick. Bratton's got it. Good spell of pressure this. Duran, chance to cross towards Mitch Duke. Bratton again with De Silva. Macarthur's turn to be on the front foot and test the mettle of this Victory side's defence. Well, they've held their line. Flag up for offside.
Yeah, the pass to Bosniak was on 5 minutes ago. Unfortunately for Rafa Duran, when the ball came out to him, he just didn't get his head up and have a look. And by the time he played it, he's straight into an offside position. But this is where they're dangerous, Macarthur. Bosniak, Vickery on the sideline, getting the ball and facing and going towards the box.
Melbourne Victory have now opened the scoring for their last 6 games in a row. The problem is they've drawn 3 of the last 4. And that has proved costly. They've allowed sides back into games. Even a macro image of that we've seen in the last 5 minutes. From Macarthur, Talbot has to be careful, he's already on a booking. Valadon accelerates, Valadon into the area, Valupale. Jelacic, his turn to blast over. Let's head down to Michael Zapponi, who's with us on the sidelines this evening. Zappers.
Yeah, good evening, gents. As Eric mentioned, perfect conditions tonight. It was warm today here in Melbourne. It has cooled down now, and the pitch is looking immaculate. An update for you on a couple of key players for Melbourne Victory. Jason Davidson's been missing for the last couple of weeks. I caught up with him just before kickoff, and it's been a tough week for the Davidson family. Alan Davidson, who we all know as Socceroo, has been in hospital. He had a blood clot. I know he's watching tonight, so cheerio to him. I'm told he's now recovered and back at home. But Jason went to visit him in hospital, as did Jason's son. As a result of that visit, they both got sick as well. And Jason Davidson was out for a whole week, in hospital for a week, lost 6 kilos. He's now back on the road to recovery and should be back in the squad next week.
Fantastic, Zappers. Thanks for that update. Yellow card in the meantime for Liam Rose, and we send all our best wishes to all the Davidson clan. Very famous footballing family for the green and gold. Jelacic getting in behind again, so Liam Rose, that's 2 yellow cards. It tells us just how hard Macarthur's defence are working at the moment. They're being stretched. And once again, we have Jelacic and Mata standing over this free kick. They already have a goal. They go looking for another here. Mata's ball into the dangerous area. Rawlins for Valupale. Liam Rose's header. Vickery clears. Anywhere will do. Oh, is that a few boos for Jack Wachowski? I wonder. Here is Valadon. Here's Lino. Will he get there? He can't. In the end, he just got, well, he's kept it in according to the linesman on this near side. Putting the pressure on, but he's given away a free kick. Apparently that was cries of shoot crowd for Jack Wachowski.
Yeah, wow, it's very, very close. And you've got to admire the work rate of the Melbourne Victory players to play in, to play out. And it comes down the left-hand side or the right-hand side in the full-back position. Rawlins, Lino getting himself forward. And it's great to watch because Velupile understands his job sometimes to vacate that space and come inside and allow that overlap to come in. So they're not really good at controlling the games.
Esposito under a little bit of pressure from Bosniak.
And that's a prime example of being able to control and take the sting out of something. It's maybe why they've dropped points in the last couple of games, because they need to put their foot on the ball and just calm it down a little bit. They are the team at home.
Rose, good switch of play for Talbot. Loves to get forward down that right-hand side. Velupile coming to help out. Wachowski comes. Yeah, that's a bit more encouraging. Nice round of applause for Jack Wachowski, saving at the feet of Mitchell Duke. Rawlins goes down. Sean Evans sees nothing wrong. Referee has decided to just give Rawlins a moment or two to get back to his feet.
The energy's been good so far for Melbourne Victory. That was one of the concerns coming into this game, having played the big branded games coming into this the last month, and had to sort of really change the mindset to play this game. They've got 3 games at home, including this one. It's going to be season defining for where Melbourne Victory are going to end up on the table.
Here's Duran looking to find Bosniak. It's those matches coming up. Central Coast Mariners, Wellington Phoenix, Auckland, Newcastle. That's well played. Caceres, Talbot, great ball across the face of goal. And Mitch Duke was stretching, but he couldn't get there. And has he stretched a little too much?
Well, he's in a little bit of pain there, the Socceroo. It was a great reach, but how good was that pass from Caceres? And how good's this ball from Callum Talbot? Almost too good. It had a little bit too much juice on it, and nobody could get in the way of the ball. And on the flip side, down the other end, a defender put it into the net. That one, nobody could get close to.
Maybe a little bit of grass burn for Mitchell Duke. There is the run home for Melbourne Victory. The sprint finish is on. It all ends away to Western Sydney Wanderers at CommBank Stadium on Saturday, the 25th of April. Lino, the cutback, it's well played. Velupile, Velupile's shot, spilt by Curto. And Duca almost got there, now Valadon, blocked by Walter Scott. Again, Mitch Duke does well. Such power in those headers without any right. Bending back, arching the neck.
You just wish that somebody was close enough to him. And that's the job of playing an isolated role as a number 9. He does it so well. If you get somebody to get close to him, Bosniak or Vickery, somebody has to come from that wide area and support.
Jelassic with Mata. Looks up, gives it back to Jelassic. Goes again, gets it back from Bratton. Little ball in behind is a good one for Velupile. Nice touch. Velupile still going. Still Nishan Velupile. And Duca. Jeanreau against his former club. Well, it's the story of the X's at the moment. Denny Jeanreau adding to Damien De Silva's own goal in the 11th minute, and Melbourne Victory are well and truly on their way now.
sensational football from Melbourne Victory. Started by this man, who else? Juan Mata on the Harvey Norman replay. What a take that was as well from Valupale, who kept it alive. And then Duca just rolled it back to the premium performer in midfield, Denny Jonro. He's been so good over the course of the season, but this is what he needs to add to his game. Playing in the midfield, getting forward, understanding that Mata wasn't in the box and it was his turn to turn the ball in the back of the net. And watch this, right in the corner. It's a sensational finish from Jonro, and it's 2-0 to the Victory.
And the former Macarthur Player of the Year with a clinical finish, his second of the season. It's been a long time between drinks as well. That first goal of the season came back in round 2 against Newcastle. We have to say Victory are worth their lead at the moment.
And you have a feeling that this could get ugly. Just given the way that Macarthur have performed in the last couple of weeks, coming here, there was that cloud of uncertainty, and you thought, just don't concede the first goal. Don't concede the second goal. And now they are really have their backs to the wall, because Victory, when they score, their tails go up.
Oh, great touch. Valupale still going. They are playing some nice football. Referee's got in the way of that one. We remember what happened a couple of weeks ago with Luke Bratton and the referees.
He's got to stop at that time.
Macarthur without a shot so far against 9 for Melbourne Victory. There is the league table. The goal difference sending Melbourne Victory up above Adelaide and into 4th place, just a point behind Sydney FC, who take on Melbourne City in Sydney on Tuesday night in the final match of the round. Another massive match for both sides. Sydney FC can all but cement their place in finals football, having missed out last year. Melbourne City, a little bit like Macarthur, they need to desperately try and turn some pretty rotten form around. It's not working out for the Bulls so far. Bosniak. Jonro. He's just relishing that deeper lying number 6 role at the moment. We're seeing all his defensive qualities.
He's an animal. And you can just see with the amount of sweat pouring off him, he's working everywhere. And alongside Valadon, those two players allow Mata to get forward. We know that. It's cliche. But when you see it live in action, closing gaps, getting close, chasing lost causes, it's a real midfielder's performance so far.
Caceres. Back with De Silva. Three goals conceded against the Mariners, 4 against Western Sydney, 1 against Newcastle, 2 Bangkok away, 2 against Perth. They are conceding a lot of goals at the moment, Macarthur, and in that time they've scored just 5.
Which is so strange, because there was a period there where they were untouchable. Through December and January, I think it was, they went on a little run, and perhaps they just ran out of gas. But you talk about those numbers like that, Robbie, defensively, from the goalkeeper forward, it just hasn't been working, and they haven't changed a lot either. They've just kind of stuck with the same idea, the same system, and they have been leaking goals.
Amazingly, their run of 7 matches without victory before tonight all came off the back of a 6-2 win over Melbourne City, when the floodgates well and truly open. But unfortunately, that was just a bit of a mirage for this Macarthur side. Caceres. Back with Talbot. Rose with Walter Scott. Mitch Duke. Flag goes up for offside. Excellent line from Roderick Miranda and his youngsters alongside him at the back.
Hasn't he been strong this season? Esposito and Miranda, who's cemented himself back into the side at the business end of the season. Wachowski, another change in that back line. Left back tonight. It's been a right back. Vincera, Rawlins, or somebody coming in at that position. So they have been flexible in their defensive shape as well. But Esposito, he's been the ever-present.
Jelassic gives chance. Oh, Rafa Duran took an age to get there. They've got away with it with a goal kick, at least. Melbourne Victory, who have Lockie Jackson back on the bench this evening. He wasn't on the bench on the Big Blue. The former Newcastle Jet, who's one option in the centre of defence. There he is, the giant central defender. Brendan Hamill is another who's back training with the squad and available, but yet to make a matchday squad. It's only been the last 3 weeks. Louis Dorigo is still missing, but likely to be back soon. That will reignite that competition for spaces in the middle of the park with Genro and Valadon, the incumbents there at the moment.
And I think that's why that's so important for a squad. If you look at a club like the Central Coast Mariners, and we saw how well they've been doing under Warren Moon this season, and going and signing a couple of players, it adds that little bit of competitiveness. There's a bit of trouble here for De Silva. It's the same with Melbourne Victory. They've got now options coming in, coming out.
Look at that. Juan Mata racing in with the press to win the ball back. Then keeps it alive with Genro. He spreads it out to Lino. Can expect Franco Lino to be a little bit rusty in his first match of the season. Actually arrived with a bit of a knee injury that needed to be tidied up. Well left by Mata for Rawlins. Genro. Mata again. Just forced to stretch a little bit. Rolls it for Valupale. Well, Macarthur can't get a glove on them at the moment. Esposito. Jelassic. Genro again in behind. Duran can't get there. It's a stretch from Rawlins. And it's out for a corner. Melbourne Victory tightening the screw.
Pin back. That little piece of skill here from Juan Mata. Just talk about work rate. He's all the way across on the sideline, and that ball through it made its way. And Duca there making himself a big nuisance. If it's not with his pace, it's with his power.
Mata gives the signal. It's a little ballet signal. To the back post, Rawlins! Well, it was a ballet signal. It was very much a footballing outcome. Volley just over at the back post.
Yeah, just when it sat up for him, I thought he's got to back himself here. You know the delivery is going to be on point, and maybe he didn't try and hit it with the laces there. Yeah, it was the side foot. You've just got to have a swing at it with the laces. That would have kept it down.
Close to that first Melbourne Victory goal for Josh Rawlins. May have one in the cup, actually, I think, for Melbourne Victory, but in terms of A-League, just the one for Perth Glory in his career. That's a good challenge from Miranda. And Bosniak has fallen heavily.
Monstrous tackle from Miranda.
Grabbed that shoulder immediately. Sean Evans coming across to have a look. Walter Scott. Genro, great turn. Valadon now, look at the space on the left. Lino couldn't take it with him. Velupile to come and support him. Well, there was an opportunity there. Now Miranda. Just a little late on Mitch Duke.
And a yellow ticket.
Well, he joins Talbot and Rose in the book then. He's not happy at getting a booking for that Roderick Miranda. He came off last weekend with what looked like a pretty bad cork, but he's managed to get recovery and get back on his feet. Bratton with the free kick. Oh, body's falling. Mitch Duke claiming he was tripped. Just a third yellow card of the season for Roderick Miranda. That's a player who has as many red cards as he does goals in the A-League over the last 5 years. He's been taking on a new role, perhaps, Miranda, of leader at the back, and the old man not doing so much fouling as he used to do.
I just think if you're a Melbourne Victory player, having him in the sides and seeing him on the team sheet would be immense. It'd make you feel 10 feet tall, because you know that he's going to defend for his life, and he has that leadership quality. He knows how to lead a line as well. It's not about just tackling and heading and sprinting forward. It's about navigating that back line.
Wozniak does well, so does Duran. It was left by Duke. Here's Vickery, comes inside. Vickery! Oh, great finish! Well, he knows Amy Park well, Luke Vickery, the former Western United man. That was a magnificent goal on the left boot and gave Wachowski no chance.
He's just so motivated this season. You can see it in his eyes. Every time he picks up the ball, he's got one thing on his mind right there. And the Harvey Norman replay, it's good work from Duran, and the overlap from Talbot opens up that opportunity. But when he gets this opportunity, he bends it into the corner. He doesn't try and smash it. He just caresses it into the side netting. And it's a really important goal for the Macarthur Bulls. It's game on.
Just 8 minutes before half-time, Macarthur are right back in this contest. The lifeline for the Bulls. Jelassic fouled by Walter Scott. And our Melbourne Victory's old ghosts coming back to haunt them as well. Leading again, a 2-goal lead, just like it was last weekend against Sydney FC. They turn off for a second at the back after just singing the praises of that back line. It was a great finish from Vickery, but the lead-up was all too easy. Mata. Ball goes back post. Roderick Miranda. Excellent defensive header from De Silva. Vickery again. One-on-one with Lino. Vickery might try and take him on. He does. And there you see Franco Lino's lost none of that pace during his 2.5 years in Norway. Scott up the line for Callum Talbot. Oh, solid contact with Genro. Caceres. Able to turn and face forward. Walter Scott again. Vickery rides the challenge of Valadon. Ooh, that was not a gift for Bratton and Duca. De Silva did well. Had to as well. Otherwise, Nduka was away. Well, first shot, first goal for Macarthur against 10 for Melbourne Victory. 2 from 3 on target. There's the XG to complete that mini attacking stat attack. Mata as Victory look to face forward again. Look at the space for Velupile, just stepping off Talbot. Lino, the cut back across the edge of the area. Again, Just like Vickery, it's Bosniak's turn to try and run the ball out of trouble. Duke. Well, they've played their way out nicely there, Macarthur. Now there's space on the left-hand side. Caceres. He's got Duran outside and Bosniak inside with a little bit of space. Bosniak into the area. Caceres again, only Duke to aim for in the middle. It's a good ball though. Oh, and Mitchell Duke's touch lets him down. Well, that was well worked, the full length of the field from Macarthur.
Best passage of play for the Bulls in this first half. It was really nice to watch, and you could feel and hear the ball slapping around as the passes were crisp and trying to make this crowd quieten down, because they're a little bit nervous now, I think, after seeing the Bulls with that little passage going forward. But again, going into Mitch Duke, they just couldn't hold the ball up at the prime moment.
It's over for Lupale. De Silva again wins the initial one. For Lupale picks up the crumbs. Paladon. And now Esposito. Cuts it inside with Jelassic. He runs into trouble. Appeals for handball, nothing given. Now, who did that come off last? And was it already out of play? It's gone Victory's way. You can see Macarthur are not happy.
He's made some good decisions there tonight, Walter Scott, passing and moving. You can see they're out of gas though. They've been putting in the hard yards the last 5 minutes or so.
3 minutes to go in the first half. You can see these sides when finals football starts to appear on the horizon. The intensity lifts. It's been a very entertaining opening half of football between two sides that want to be playing football into May this year. Macarthur, for a lot of the season, it looked a certainty. For Melbourne Victory, the opposite. A win for Victory tonight will be a huge step towards finals football. For Macarthur, a win and they climb back into the six. That's basically the stakes for this evening. And having clawed their way back into this one, the Bulls can ill afford to concede a third here before the break. Mata with the magic wand. There it goes, Jelassic winning the header, but a little too far out, no power in it.
But again, it's on the money from Juan Mata. It was a good ball in. Could have used a little bit more oomph in the header. And this is where I think Melbourne Victory need to now see the half out. A little bit of control. Knock it round, get it wide. Mile Sturjovski will be happy with his side getting themselves back into the contest. But you're right, Robbie. It feels as though if that next goal goes in, it's over.
Long ball, Liam Rose gets there. Bratton. Full ball for Caceres. Duran hugging this left wing. Caceres brought down by Jeanreau. Macarthur will have another chance to get some bodies forward. They like to play direct. Look at Bosniak's run. Oh, it's coming too late, but he looks further afield with Talbot. It's a good ball from Bratton. Here's Vickery. Alan Talbot again. De Silva with Rose. Bratton can turn. Vickery. Melbourne Victory staying disciplined, staying organised, keeping that press. They've forced Macarthur back. Melbourne victory, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, what I like about this line for Macarthur, they have 4 players in the back line. It's Duran, Bosniak or Vickery, Duke as well, Caceres pushing high. So they are asking a question, just in the pure numbers game, giving them an opportunity.
And Callum Talbot loves to get forward as well. Here they come again. Bosniak looks deep, back post for Rafa Duran. He'll keep it in. It'll require something special. Still only Mitch Duke really in the box, though, to aim for. Caceres. Duran again, taking on Rawlins. Good challenge. We've got Franco Lino, who's down now. It's his first game back after a very lengthy layoff, and that's always fraught with danger.
Well, it was a great leap in the first instance. Maybe just landed on his knee or his ankle. He's all right. He'll be fine.
He got that big Talbot step on his foot right at the start of the match as well. Caceres. Again, for all their attacking options, they're all sort of standing outside the box with only Mitch Duke the target. Duran, Bosniak, Vickery, Caceres, all attacking midfielders as much as anything. Miranda's header, and Duca does well under pressure from Bratton, but Macarthur will have it halfway through stoppage time at the end of the first half. 90 seconds left. It's been Macarthur's ball so far. They trail by 1-0. What a shot in the arm it would be if they could steal another. An equaliser just before the break, and surely that would sow the seeds of doubt in this victory team as well, given their recent run of giving away points when going in front. Sean Evans making sure the throw is taken from the right place. And if that happens next season, in theory, it'll be a throw for the other team for not respecting the throw-ins, not taking them quickly enough or from the right place. Caceres, quick feet. Duke, lovely turn. Bratton. This is good football from Macarthur. Talbot looks up, crosses, it's blocked by Denny Genro. Was it the arms? Here's Vickery. Talbot again. He just couldn't hit that cross first time. Oh, he does love to wind up on that right boot and whip the ball in. Caceres again. There's no time to fashion one final effort and try and get a second equaliser for Macarthur. An excellent first stanza here at Amy Park. Melbourne victory. Played some really good football. Raced into a 2-goal lead, but they're not out of the woods just yet. An own goal from De Silva before Denny Genro got his second for Melbourne victory against his former club. Luke Vickery pulled one back for the visitors, and this one is quite evenly poised. It didn't look that way midway through the first half, but there is everything to play for here at Amy Park in the second half. It's victory leading Macarthur by 2-1. We're heading off to a very quick break. Halftime show coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Very, very excited down here. But thanks to our friends at Liberty, we're trying to keep the ball rolling. This is loans for free fingers. I've got a couple of free fingers next to me. They are very excited. This guy's in the field with me. He's so excited. What we're going to do is we're going to put them behind the ball. They're going to get this giant Liberty ball from this end of the field down to the other end in 30 seconds. If they can do that, there will be 2 ultra football vouchers worth $50 each. What's your name? And what's your name?
Rolly Wilson.
Rolly Wilson. Let's get behind the ball. Let's Rolly Wilson this ball all the way down to the other end. We're going to count down in just a moment. And these two are trying to take this Liberty ball. And remember, it is all about working as a team when it comes to Liberty. It's our loans for free thinkers. Let's get this giant Liberty ball all the way down in 3, 2, 1. Go for it, guys! This is for two $50 ultra football vouchers. They've had a good start. It's a little wet underfoot, but the ball has get some good momentum. They're past halfway. Keep pushing, fellas. 8, 7, 6. They'll get it done. And just like that, we've got 2 winners. Nicely done, fellas. Attempted backflip. Let's try not to injure ourselves. They've done a very good job. With thanks to Liberty, they've won the...
Welcome back to Amy Park. It is Melbourne victory with the advantage. Only just at half-time, 2-1 in an entertaining first half of football. Juan Mata involved in everything yet again for Melbourne victory. They took a 2-0 lead and Macarthur showed plenty after going 2 down to respond. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks half-time show. Eric Partalu's been good enough to join us. Eric, a great response from Macarthur after a terrific start from victory.
They were sharp to start the game, and then as the game wore on, the experienced players stepped up from Macarthur, which is what we were asking for from the start of the game. But Melbourne victory shoot themselves in the foot again and allow the door to be open from the Bulls. But Juan Mata's been brilliant. They scored 2. They probably should have had more. All right, let's take a look at our Hungry Jacks halftime show and our Harvey Norman highlights for that first half. Fantastic start from victory, and Josh Rawlins was involved in plenty early on. This is a terrific ball to set this goal up. What I love about Melbourne victory is that the way that they find those passes, they stretch the pitch, but they have willing runners to get forward, and they have a lot of legs getting forward. If it's John Rowe, it could be, Jelassic getting forward, and De Silva had no option there but to try and track the run, and then he has to try and slide to stop it getting into Charles Nduku's path. But that was a sloppy start from Macarthur, but that's how good Melbourne victory can be on the counter-attack. And again, they showed great pace getting forward. We talk about good balls to set up a goal. Here's another one to set up the second goal for Melbourne victory. This pass from Juan Mata and a terrific overlapping run from Nishan Velupillay, who did well to hold the ball, keep possession, and then Nduka was very smart to pass it to Denis Jeanreau. It was a great team goal. I love how Velupillay just took that ball, controlled it, was calm, got through a couple of challenges, and then thought, okay, can I find a blue shirt? And Nduka thought the same thing. Turn, face, who's facing forward? And Jeanreau just slots that ball in, side foots it in, and he's had such a fantastic year. It's no surprise that he's getting goals on the edge of the box now. And again, Macarthur with a bit of a response of their own, because Melbourne victory, they just kept backing off and backing off. We thought Melbourne victory could have run away with the game at this point, but then Macarthur's experienced players came in, and one of the less experienced players with a terrific finish, Luke Vickery, a Melbourne boy. He was at Western United. He got his opportunity here and has taken it. His 4th goal of the campaign. He's probably been the standout player, if I'm being honest, for Macarthur this year, and the finish is exceptional. But the understanding that they're not going to get a lot of chances tonight, and in the big games, you've got to go and try and bury it. And look at those statistics, really, really even in terms of possession. And, it's anyone's game in this second half, Sappers. Yeah, Melbourne victory will know that their last few have been draws. They need to convert those draws into wins. Denis Jeanreau, we spoke about him. He has been outstanding in this first half for Melbourne victory. And when he scored that goal, it felt like it meant a lot to him. He almost got a bit emotional after that goal went in. Yeah, he certainly did. And he plays with his heart on his sleeve, no doubt about that. But it's the work that he puts in. I said it in commentary. Look at the shirt. It's full of sweat. His hair's drenched. He has the vision to play passes like that, but he's going and doing the dirty work alongside Jordi Valadon. He needed somebody else to step in there when Dorigo's not there. And now he's added goals to his game, which highlights his game even further and makes people take notice.
Denny Jonro right in the mix there on the Paramount Plus Player Index as we take a look at our leaderboard there. He tops it. Jalasic's been outstanding as well. You mentioned Vickery, Valadon and Velupile, also very good to make up the top 5 of our Paramount Plus Player Index, and a very good performance from those ones. How do you see Josh Rawlins as well? Down this right-hand side, he's been very good for Melbourne Victory.
He's good in his positioning and he stretches the game really well. It looks as though that Melbourne Victory are just starting to play out from the back really slow and casually, but they're waiting for him to get involved, and he's got the ability to step forward quickly with the ball or make that pass. And when you've got a player like Charles and Duca in front of you that can run with speed or run in behind, Macarthur have no idea what to do with him. They go close to him, he plays it long. If they get too tight to him, he'll go past with a dribble, and he had a hand in the goal as well. I'm really impressed with his performance tonight.
When you look at Macarthur and how they might respond in the second half, we saw glimpses in the latter stages of that first half, getting Luke Bratton on the ball and Caceres on the ball and getting Mitch Duke involved. They know they've got the firepower to respond.
They do. They've just got to do it quickly, because I think if this crowd gets behind Melbourne Victory, they've got weapons of their own on the bench that can cause an impact. Santos is there waiting to get on. They will score another goal in this half, but it's up to Macarthur. Can they score before Melbourne Victory? If they don't do that, the game's over.
And what we've seen from Melbourne Victory when the likes of Santos come on as a substitute, so much pace, and he offers a really big threat as well.
Well, Juan Mata knows how to find these players. You can see him dropping off from the ball on the sideline looking for willing runners. You've got Nduka running forward. You're going to have Santos in the second. Velupile is there. Juan Mata is a good player, but he's only as good as the runs off the ball, and he's got some great players in front of him making great runs.
And Matt Grimaldi's another one, I suppose, that has made a big impact off the bench, and some would say probably a little bit unlucky not to be starting in this side.
Yeah, well, a lot of these players I think will feel unhappy, and there's a lot of competition for places. Dorigo, Davidson not in the squad as well, so going into the finals, Melbourne Victory, they're looking pretty strong.
All right, we look forward to your call in the second half. Plenty more coming your way. That was our Hungry Jacks halftime show. And as always, plenty on Paramount Plus over the next week. We've got the Asian Women's Cup, the semi-final, Australia taking on China Republic. This is on Tuesday night in Perth. It is going to be huge. All the best to the Tillies. The A-League Women's Competition, a midweek fixture as well, with Melbourne City taking on Adelaide United. UFC action as well, big fight night next Saturday. And then the Socceroos are in town. They take on Cameroon on the 27th. Plenty more coming your way. Second half from Amy Park isn't too far away.
Welcome back to Amy Park. Melbourne Victory leading Macarthur by 2-1 on this special evening for Melbourne Victory. They have, along with Life Changer, a non-for-profit organisation, launched Stand Together Mental Health Round, a preventative mental health program across schools, and it's been at the Melbourne Victory Academy since 2022, looking to give young people the tools to thrive. They've also launched their own employment program this week called Victory Rising for 18 to 25-year-olds from migrant and refugee backgrounds as well, to help them get a leg up in the professional world and provide them with opportunities both professionally and for personal development. So fantastic to see Melbourne Victory doing their part in the community, and they're doing their part on the pitch as well so far. And Duca just testing out Mitch Duke's Japanese there, apparently not quite up to scratch for someone who's been there for 8 years. Denny Genre getting in on the banter as well. It's Melbourne Victory that get the second half underway. No changes to either side. Victory, who looked like they were going to run away with things, but Macarthur, they managed to settle things down, steady the ship, and get it back on point. And Eric Partaloo, this one, all of a sudden, looks a lot more undecided than it did midway through the opening stanza.
That's the worry for Melbourne Victory. 1-1 and 2-2. They had wins in their pockets the last 2 games, and they turned that into draws. And that's really got to worry Arthur Dillis, not just for the game tonight, but moving forward, getting into those finals positions. You've got to put teams to bed when you're 2-0 up at home. You can't allow them to come back. The game's not over. There's 45 minutes still to go. But this next goal, it's so crucial for the game.
Mata heading over to take the corner, which never materialised. I'm not sure if that's a smile at his own joke of trying to influence the referee's decision, or because he thought that should have been a corner and not a goal kick. Philip Curto made a couple of really good saves, had a couple of little nervy moments as well in the first half, but Macarthur, for long periods, were really under a lot of pressure. They managed to survive, at least this far. Genre's ball forward. Another one for Nduka to chase. Walter Scott's kept it in, and he's managed to find Anthony Caceres. He can look forward. Bosniak takes off. It's a good ball back for Dean Bosniak. Oh, and then just beaten by the bounce of the ball.
Yeah, he's got to make that stick, because that's exactly what Miloš Sturjovski would have been saying at half-time, is that when we go forward, make sure we go forward and continue going, because Melbourne Victory have looked a little bit suspect when the ball's gone towards, and they've backed off and backed off.
Maladon's tackled from behind by Walter Scott. Now, the card is out again. So Walter Scott picks up an early booking in the second half to go with early booking for Callum Talbot in the first.
And I think Rose as well, isn't it? Almost a 3 out of the 4.
Yep. Mata, lovely touch with Lino and Valupale. Not sure he was expecting it. It almost worked out perfectly. Lino again. Duke's not on. Bosniak trying to get there. Esposito did well against his Australia under-20 teammate. Bratton, good ball for Vickery. And against Lino, a former Aussie under-20, Franco Lino. Well played, Vickery. He's done really well under pressure there to earn a corner for Macarthur.
It's been good value most of this season, Luke Vickery, and tonight he's just been battling away. And if there's one player on the team sheet that you know that's going to continue to battle away, it's Vickery. It's their first corner.
It is indeed. First corner of the contest. The Bulls. And it comes from Scott. Comfortable header away from Esposito. No one even contesting. Mata looks up. Big switch for Valupale. Curto comes outside the box. Well, there was no urgency from Victory to follow up. Otherwise, there might have been more danger. They're still on the front foot. Jelassic, the cross in, and Duca. Juan Mata was arriving at the back post, and Duca perhaps wasn't to know.
Well, you can see the Macarthur Bulls bench absolutely livid with the recovery runs from the Bulls player, not quick enough. And Duca, that was wide and open, and it was a little bit too high for him, but that's exactly where he wants the ball. Give him service and he will score.
Japanese mum, Nigerian dad, Charles and Duca. Japanese raised. Ball sprayed out left again. Played for Yokohama SCC in the 3rd division. FC Gifu. And then Kagoshima before getting the call to join Melbourne Victory. Here's Mata. Quite a different CV for the number 64. Mata again. Also includes a spell in Japan, though. At Vissel Kobe. Didn't quite work out for Juan Mata. All the better for Melbourne Victory and Australian football fans. Valadon. Geordie Valadon. He was looking for Mata. He's like a magnet sometimes. Oh, Jonro looking for the yellow card. Couldn't get it. Duran on the charge. Duke takes over. Walter Scott now. This is good from Macarthur. Again, they look dangerous in transition.
Just that key moment there for Rafa Duran. Had to make a clean pass to Mitch Duke and he would have been in on goal. And that's exactly how they want to operate, is getting the ball forward in the counter-attack in that position. Duran started from his own box and was able to charge forward with pace.
Here's Caceres. Scott and now Bratton. Gets it back, Luke Bratton. Talbot offered wide. Vickery came short. Now Callum Talbot has it. Well, he wants an option. Callum Talbot, he doesn't get it. He's under pressure from Valupale, who does very well, and he wins the throw. Nishan Valupale. And now look at Mile Sturjovski's assistant coach down there, the former Basel teammate of Mile Sturjovski, Bruno Berner, screaming at his players for exactly what you were talking about, Eric, those recovery runs. Get back in position. Don't get caught out again on the counter. Still very animated. Here's Valadon. Esposito. Here's Rawlins, the right back, high up on that right-hand side. Jelassic. Well, there's always that moment with Keegan Jelassic, that little casual flick, one too many. He's having such a good season for Melbourne Victory. His most complete season, I think, in the A-League.
Yeah, not easy to come to this club and wear the shirt, first and foremost. Performance is the second, then the goals came. And that was the big question mark. If you want to play for Melbourne Victory in that position, do you have goals in you? The performances have come, the goals have come.
And he's keeping the likes of Claris Mario Santos, Matt Grimaldi, Reno Piscopo. That's three players that would walk into just about any A-League side. Ball in, Vickery's header. Now Talbot, well played for Valupale again. Well, that was a difficult option for Nishan Valupale. Not even really sure it was an option at all.
But good recovery from him, because the last 5 minutes or so they've been pegged back, and I think he's understanding the role that he's got to go and help out Francolino in the back line.
Sean Evans making sure Callum Talbot takes the throw from the right spot. Rose with Walter Scott. Bratton looks up ahead of him, everyone taking off. Talbot, that's a great first time ball, cushioned pass. Vickery can provide a cross. Vickery again, cut out by Esposito in the end, not under as much pressure as he might have thought. And look at the space here. Here comes that Victory transition. Jelassic looking for Valupale. Oh, and it's overhit.
Just that moment again, that touch from Talbot, and then maybe the ball could have been played a little bit quicker there from Vickery, but it's at that moment the balls are out of position. And Talbot got himself all the way back in. That's not easy to go up and down, but he's been one of Macarthur's bests this year. 4 assists, 1 goal.
First ever A-League goal as well. Talbot, he's done well there against Valupale, turning the tables. Rawlins. Valadon. Mata gets there into the area, looks up, just clips it up to the back post. And now Genro back in, and Duca's flick. Lino now, he hits it. Blocked by Damien De Silva, and that looked pretty good off the boot as well.
Well, they've had some bad luck, Macarthur. And there was one a couple of weeks ago at home. Well, they're not going to be checking that, surely. This shot from Francolino just made its way all the way through. And Curto was already down.
It could have bounced anywhere off Damien De Silva. Genro again able to turn and face forward. And Duca just poured away by Philip Curto. Lino, 1-2 with Miranda. Now Valadon. Victory can put their foot on the ball. It's all been a bit frantic and frenetic. Rawlins comes forward. Victory looking to finish off Macarthur here. Jelassic, it's a nice cross into a really good area, no one attacking it. Bosniak does really well, being held on to by Genro. And here, Mile Sturjovski's assistant coach, Bruno Berner, just saying, well played, Bosniak. Here's Caceres now. With Rafa Duran. He's still going, Duran, somehow. Needs to find an option. There's no one in the middle again. Mitch Duke comes short. Bratton with an effort from distance, which is blocked. Here's Talbot again. Little 1-2 with Bratton. It's well worked. The cross in. Duke was there that time. And it's out for a corner. Very well defended from Esposito and Miranda.
The sheer volume of oxygen being taken down pitch side at the moment is massive. There's a huge effort coming in here from both sides, but Macarthur trying to make their way back into this game, and then Duca getting a little opportunity there, and he just swatted that one away. Philip Curto was having none of it.
Luke Bratton. Referee wants a little less pushing and tugging in the box. Bratton comes short with Talbot. Bratton's cross is a good one. The header from Vickery. He just couldn't find the space really to get a clean purchase on it. Wachowski makes the save.
It's a really good idea, this. Luke Bratton's left foot just as good as his right. Esposito, brilliant positioning. He wasn't going to win the header, but he knew the line in which the ball was going to travel, and he has his eye in the back line for Melbourne Victory.
Esposito with a good quick ball for Rawlins. Jelassic wants to come inside to make space for that right-hand channel run. Now Valadon able to turn. Here's Esposito. Mata, Jelassic, nice football again. Rawlins, the cross deflected. Liam Rose's header. Not enough pressure on Walter Scott as he looks long towards Mitch Duke. Big physical contest there between he and Miranda. All above board. Bosniak again. Invites Callum Talbot forward. Lino stretch and Bratton switch. Duran against Rawlins. Rafa Duran down to the byline, palmed out by Wachowski, and just eluded Bosniak. Well, as easy as it could have been 3-1, it could have been 2-2.
Just both sides not willing to close the back door, and it's great for the neutral, but if you're a coach on either side, you'd be having a heart attack at the moment because you're not sure which way it's going to go.
Well, as long as there's not that third goal, Melbourne Victory fans will know that this one is not in the pocket either until the final whistle goes. Jordi Valadon. Genro. Velupale. Trying to just play it around. That's an excellent challenge from Rawlins. Valadon down to the byline. The cutback. Bratton kicks it straight into Caceres. The crowd don't like it, but I don't think there was anything untoward in it. Denny Genro cleaning up. He had to be. He's done really well there. Denny Genro was caught by Bosniak. Victory come forward. Rawlins again. Drives it in low corner. Genro's back to his feet. Well, this match, who wants to call it? It could go either way.
It's just been so crisp. Melbourne Victory's passing has been exceptional this evening, using the surface to full advantage, keeping it on the deck, crossing along the deck. The fans are in full voice.
Couple of changes inbound for Macarthur and Claris Mario Santos for Victory as well. Oh, they've got the goal! Juan Mata with the assist, and Sebastian Esposito, the young central defender who is coming of age this season for Melbourne Victory. It's his second goal, a second from a corner. And Victory fans can finally breathe a little easier. They have that third goal.
On the Harvey Norman replay, it's another assist for Juan Mata, the king of Amy Park. This is his ground, and this is when he decides the team needs something special. The ball coming in is in the beautiful area inside the 6-yard box, right where Philip Curto cannot even move to get close to it. Esposito has been one of the best for Melbourne Victory. He deserved that goal, and that might have been the icing on the cake that they were looking for.
Fantastic moment, a first home goal at Amy Park for Sebastian Esposito. Changes coming for Melbourne Victory. Velupale and Jelassic, the two wide men coming off. Santos and Grimaldi coming on. Mitch Duke has also made way for Harry Sawyer. Vickery, Bosniak. Still out there, it's Chris Economides who's also come on for Macarthur. Sawyer. So Rafa Duran and Mitch Duke, the two players to have made way. Mata. The touch just got away from him, but the turn was exquisite. Valadon. Grimaldi. First touch, Grimaldi. Oh, and the referee had a long look. He allowed a fair bit of the advantage, but not enough for Melbourne Victory players.
I'm not sure that was the best decision. You can understand in the middle of the pitch when Mata's doing this to go past people, and then this one. If this would have been at the halfway line, maybe you get away with it. It was a professional foul, maybe, but look at this.
Oh, let's not forget Walter Scott's on a yellow card as well. Juan Mata has just delivered his 11th assist of the season for Sebastian Esposito. Now he stands over this free kick. Philip Curto. It's another 3 goals conceded by Macarthur. Mata goes low, deflected! And Duca got the touch. Well, the assist wizard, El Mago, Juan Mata, is at it again. And Duca is claiming the goal. His third for Melbourne Victory. 2 goals in a matter of minutes. And Victory is surely now home and hosed.
Unreal. Again from Juan Mata. This time playing it low and hard and asking a question of Macarthur's defence along the ground. Just so intelligent. And Charles Nduka is finding new and unexpected ways to score goals. That's a good striker on the Harvey Norman replay. You've got to be there. You've got to be waiting for those opportunities. And he's making a name for himself in a Melbourne Victory shirt. It's 4-1.
Having just said that Macarthur have conceded 3, well, correct that. That is now 4. And that is now 11 goals conceded in their last 3 matches. It's a season that's resembling more and more last year's campaign for Macarthur. Looking so good in the first half of the season. A number of transfers and the wheels came off. They don't have that excuse this year. And Duca, here come Victory again, Santos. Mata wants it, helps it on its way. Rawlins, a little touch for Grimaldi. Matt Grimaldi still. Mata. Grimaldi. We know he can shoot from this kind of distance. A little too clever that time.
Wow. Just so exciting to watch because they've just got momentum at the moment. They weren't even playing good passes there, Melbourne Victory. It just seemed like every single player was asking for the ball to get forward. Milas Turjovski deep in thought now. And you have to say it, the wheels have come off. This will be 4 in a row for the Bulls. And you can't put your finger on where exactly this is all falling apart for them. Yes, Asia was taxing.
Here come Victory again. Look out at Duca.
So the question is now, where to?
Well, a lot of that Asia argument as well. I mean, their poor run of form really started when they qualified and they didn't have those Asian matches to complicate things. There's their run home. It ends away to Adelaide and then at home to Wellington Phoenix. Auckland next week. Things aren't going to get any easier for them. Saturday in Auckland. That one next weekend before the international break. There you see those results. We can add 4 more goals for victory tonight, but that does not make for pretty reading. This will be a 4th consecutive defeat. Unless, of course, with 20 minutes to go, there's a miracle.
Just looked at the clock there when you said it, and I was surely not. But stranger things have happened, and they've been involved in some big score lines this season. 5-4, 6-2. It's not like they're not capable of scoring goals and one after the other after the other. It's just been defensively. They've completely capitulated.
And even before those 2 goals in 3 minutes, Macarthur had a couple of chances as well. Bratton delivers back post to Silva. Almost trying to make amends for his own goal in the first half against his former club. Here's Walter Scott. Now, is the flag going to stay down there? Vickery can't keep it in. The flag is up for offside anyway.
Well, we're going to go out on a whim here and say that De Silva probably needs to score that one. And it's a great line from Melbourne Victory. The game's not over yet. They understand the challenge.
Mitch Duke has just picked up his boots and headed down the tunnel. Since coming off. Bratton. I don't know if that means there's a little injury there or it's just a little toilet break before he returns. Caceres. It's behind Vickery. Strong from Caceres. He's signed down by Francolino. Luke Bratton asking where the yellow card is for Francolino after that challenge.
It's what you want to see, though, from Melbourne Victory. Once they've got their noses in front, and they've done this throughout their whole existence, is go and step on the throat of opponents when they're winning games. They need to do more of this and sharpen their teeth for the games coming up.
Bratton and Caceres both asking again for the yellow card now. Sean Evans wants to show Luke Bratton exactly where the free kick should be. It's not going to be on any Christmas card lists at the moment. Sean Evans, now he's in the midst of that throng of players there. Luke Bratton, ball to the back post, it's overhead. And Duca will decide to keep it in at the last. Looks long for Grimaldi. Triple change coming for Macarthur. Mile Sturjovski getting the kids ready to come on. Mackay, Delhi. And the second ever A-League appearance for Enrique Oliveira, the younger brother of Bernardo. Second son of Cassio, the former Adelaide legend. Those changes coming now. Luke Bratton making way. So is Walter Scott. And Luke Vickery as well. So Anthony Caceres takes the captain's armband. Not many happy faces. Mitch Duke is back there on the bench, but very, very disappointing evening for Macarthur FC, another one of recent weeks. Still got 16 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for this team to show some character, to show what they've got for the youngsters who have been given the opportunity. There's Enrique, his first touch. Franz Deli back with Talbot. Liam Rose under pressure, is being hunted down by Mata there. Now Bosniak. Enrique over the top for Harrison Sawyer, trying to use his body, does so well. Franz Deli with Talbot. Enrique, the latest of these youngsters we're seeing in the A-League, 2009. That's just 17 years of age to us mere mortals. And he's only just turned 17 as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But good to see him getting minutes now. And whilst you can't expect Macarthur to get into this game or back into this game, stranger things have happened. And they just need that injection of enthusiasm at the moment, something different to start thinking about the next games going forward, because it was always going to be a tough ask coming here against Melbourne Victory. But watching Melbourne Victory right now, it's almost like they're in cruise control. They're not really coming out having to do what they did in the first half, because they've got a 3-goal lead. I understand that they can afford to do that.
Well, after Dilla said, we've looked at conceding 2 quick goals in the second half against Sydney, how it hurt us. 2 goals to the good, conceding equalisers. It's something they need to rectify. And at 2-1, it didn't look like they had. But those 2 quick goals at the other end have settled things now. Grimaldi. No way through, Mackay. Quick to close down space, but Victory come again. Valadon. Francolino. Grimaldi. Grimaldi's been fouled there by De Silva. Got away with one. Sean Evans. Bosniak for Enrique. Good challenge, Santos. That's another thing that will bring much joy to Arthur Diller, seeing his substitutes, his attacking substitutes, back doing defending like that.
It's required now, and at the start of the season they were guilty of, maybe not doing those little bits and pieces. You can't always afford to rely on Jonro, on Valadon to do all those types of dirty work. It's why Nishan Valupale came off the pitch. I think he gave absolutely everything he could. And now it's Santos' turn. He's got to do the same.
Massive week of football on Network 10 and Paramount Plus. The semi-finals, China versus Australia from Perth, 8 p.m. Tuesday. Don't miss that one. Get behind the green and gold. Sydney FC are also taking on Melbourne City on Tuesday as Mata. Again, making things happen. Also dangerous, those runs being found by his teammates. Miranda too strong for Harry Sawyer. He's got it back again, Miranda. Valadon, Mata, Santos, Lino. The overlapping run, the back heel, the cross is good, and Duca was waiting to collect. Strong between Valadon and Mackay. Franz Deli. Another good ball for Bosniak. There is quality in this Macarthur side, quality youngsters as well. Looking for Economides.
There's just zero control from both sides though, and Melbourne Victory have just done it better. They've got themselves down the line and got themselves opportunities, and they've also afforded to give an early mark to some of their stars.
Well, Well, he only got the one assist this evening. Juan Mata, that second goal from Nduka has been attributed to Denny Jomro with the assist from that free kick, but it's no surprise there's another standing ovation for the Spanish wizard. What a season he is having, turning back the clock in a victory hour where they are. It is large part thanks to him. Franco Lino and his return to first team action, a welcome return at left back for Arthur Dillis and Melbourne Victory. He's got through 79 minutes on his return, and it's the veteran Adama Traore, the most Australian of Côte d'Ivoire internationals, who comes in at left back.
Just needs to be better. Just needs to be a little bit cleaner in those hold-up moments, Harry Sawyer. And he's expecting contact because he's a big man, but I think when you're holding the ball up, you've got to move the ball in a different direction. You can't just hold it up and put it down in front of you. And I think it's part of his game for a big man. He should be absolutely dominating. Nobody getting a sniff, nobody getting the ball off him. And you get in that mindset as a big man, thinking that you can play things off first time and flick it around the corner. No, put the backside in, use your frame, hold things up, and make sure 100% every time you're holding that ball in.
He's not the same player as Mitch Duke, but you can certainly learn from what Mitch Duke was doing in that first half. It's never nice to compare players who have different profiles and different roles in a team, but you can always learn from your teammates. Look at this, Roderick Miranda on the charge, drives it across the face of goal, and then quite rightly asks, where was everyone?
Well, he's just smacked that one into the corridor of chaos, where everything happens inside that 6-yard box. Geez, they've been good tonight, Melbourne Victory, at finding that area. Charles and Nduka will go back and watch the tape of this one and think, you know what, I just need to be in there a little bit more often.
Well, it's probably a criticism of Macarthur for the first 55 minutes of this one as well. Only Mitch Duke to aim for in the middle. When they had the ball, they had half chances and options. Here's Enrique. Over the top, one for Sawyer to chase. Wachowski coming a long way outside his box. Here's Bosniak into the area, back out, Talbot. The cross near post, Wachowski comes and claims comfortably enough. Esposito, he does love a big diagonal switch. Esposito, he's winding it up. He was having a look earlier towards Santos. Enrique's touch is a good one for Bosniak. There's a hand from Stella. Speaking of learning from your teammates, how about a young player starting his career like Xavier Stella, who comes on to replace Juan Mata?
Doesn't get better than that, does it? And imagine being at training. I was talking with Durante before the game, and Massimo Madoka talking about Juan Mata and who was responsible about getting Juan Mata fit, because there was that question mark at the start of the season, and they said no, it was actually all him, asking for more, doing more, and not wrapping him in cotton wool and not treating him any differently. He didn't want to be treated any differently, and that's the key. The hunger is there, and he's so hungry to win something this year.
Esposito's ball, Rawlins wrestling Will Mackay, last season's Macarthur Academy Player of the Year, to the ground. He's had limited opportunities, Will Mackay, but certainly a player they rate highly. It's his 9th appearance. Great defensive header, Esposito. Grimaldi dispossessed. It's a good run from Liam Rose. Esposito doing just enough. Bosniak just couldn't get free of him.
And Laszczewski just hesitated as well, didn't he? But Esposito has been immense at the back. And you talk about a player that maybe at the start of the season everyone was thinking, really? This guy's been growing, and I just don't mean from half the season to now. It's every game. Every game, the passing abilities there, leading the lines there, alongside Miranda certainly helps him as well. And going forward, Melbourne Victory have got an absolute gem of a defender.
Well, for how much longer on loan from Lecce in the Italian top flight? Certainly the future career promises much. Whether it will be with Lecce in the near future, whether he'll get another season in Australia. Traore dinks it over the top towards Santos. Great little nod down for Genro. Denny Genro, a goal and an assist for him this evening. Substitutions are going to come for Melbourne Victory. The fifth and final one will be Nikos Virgos. We've got 4.5 minutes left. Genro continuing just to run from left to right across the width, up and down the pitch. He's covered every blade of grass. We talked about those two players right at the top of the programme, De Silva and Genro against their former sides, players of the season for their former clubs respectively. Well, it has turned very much in Genro's favour.
You can't deny it. You can't even make an argument about who's been the best on ground. It's clearly been Genro in terms of just the output. And even at 4-1, that's the key as well as a player. You'd love to see people, when the game's done, the game's buried, they're still running. Here he is again, closing down, wanting to go and get that next goal, wanting to help his teammates, and he doesn't want to come off.
Charles Nduka has got his goal this evening. It could well be him coming off. I mean, that would be the obvious substitution with Nikos Virgos just waiting to come on.
Substitution taken by Melbourne Victory.
It is Denny Genro, however. Well, he might get the ovation. The Paramount Plus Player Index has him sitting at the top. A goal and an assist and a mountain of work. Nikos Virgos still sitting on those 5 goals that he scored in just 2 games this season against Adelaide and Wellington, a hat-trick. Economides, we've barely seen him since coming on. Virgos, he's being held by Caceros. It's a really good turn from Virgos. What's the referee make of that? Nothing.
He didn't want to bring it back there. I think all the Melbourne Victory players are expecting that. But Nikos Virgos, I still feel there's something to be written in this season for him. Yeah, it's been 10 games without a goal, but it doesn't last for strikers, and now he's got that competition with Nduka up there. I still feel there'll be a threat, there'll be a game where they need him.
Well, he's had that moment against Adelaide in the original rivalry. Look out, here's Enrique. Jordi Valadon reading that situation, then perhaps overdoing it a little bit. It fell kindly for Jack Laszczewski in the end, who won't have a clean sheet to celebrate this evening. Jack Laszczewski, the 10th consecutive match for him, the 10th match of his A-League career. As we see the standings, Melbourne Victory cementing their place, perhaps a little too early to say that, in the 6 for this season, but they are now 7 points clear of Macarthur in 7th place. Macarthur missing out on the opportunity to climb back into the 6. Here's Grimaldi with Stella. Traore for Santos. Victory want more. Grimaldi still. Grimaldi shoots! Just wide of this near post.
He's capable, and he loves being in front of those supporters, and he just couldn't get his foot around it, really. Wasn't much of a strike. He just tried to place it past Curto. And another player who loves to come in and make an impact for Arthur Dillis. So all of these ingredients you talk about moving forward, about a team that, you know, who's going to go and win maybe the Premier's Plate, but who's going to win the grand final? Would you like to play Melbourne Victory on grand final day?
Well, to be fair, their form in the last two hasn't been amazing. A loss to the Mariners in that epic grand final in Gosford. And they were leading for so much of the second half, Tony Popovic's victory. And then a solitary goal from Jonathan Cohen in the Derby grand final last year as Melbourne City lifted the top prize. Mackay, it's a good run. Bosniak now pokes it out for Franz Deli. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Talbot. Bosniak again trying to weave his way through. Calming touch from Stella. Miranda was looking for Virgos. Melbourne Victory have won 6 of the last 9. At the final whistle, we'll be able to say 7 of the last 10 against Macarthur. They have the wood on their Sydney rivals at the moment. The one and only win in that time was here at Amy Park for Macarthur, but it was back in February 2004, just over 2 years ago now. Otherwise, it has been all Melbourne Victory in the head-to-head of this one. Before that, Macarthur's wins were when Denny Genreau was there. No foul on Grimaldi from Mackay. Caceres. Caceres on the charge. A good charge as well. Caceres still going. Bosniak on the turn. Well, he did well to make space for the shot, surrounded by Victory players, but no power in it in the end.
Got to give him credit. 92nd, 93rd minute, and he's still pumping forward, trying to run forward. But that's what he's capable of and need to see a little bit more of. And he had to play a tapered role tonight, Anthony Caceres, playing as a 6 alongside Luke Bratton for a lot of it. But maybe that gives Mile Sturjovski a little bit of food for thought going forward, that Caceres, he's such a good player, get him closer towards goal. There's going to be so many questions now for Mile Sturjovski and his coaching staff. Where do they go? How do they play? What system? There's going to be a huge whitewash, I think, this week at training, and you've got to expect some heads to roll on the pitch.
Well, we said at kick-off that it was almost last chance. Santos! Well, it almost would have been cruel. They've scored 4 for just the 3rd time this season. They got 5 against Wellington, 4 against Sydney. They've got 4 here, and that is enough for Sean Evans. At the end of 3 minutes of stoppage time, it's almost the mercy rule to put Macarthur out of their misery. And what a miserable night it has been for the visitors. It's now 6 without defeat for Melbourne Victory. They are finding their form at the right time of the season. Mile Sturjovski's side, they are in a rut. 8 without a win in all competitions now, 6 consecutive in the league, 4 straight defeats. And for Damien De Silva and co, they have to have a long, hard look in the mirror, or otherwise these last 5 weeks of the season are going to be very, very difficult indeed for Macarthur. On the other hand, it's all smiles for Melbourne Victory. Back to winning ways after consecutive draws. And this time, they not only managed to hold on to a lead, they extended it in the second half with those quick-fire goals from Esposito and Nduka. That was after De Silva and Jonro had netted in the first half. Vickery gave Macarthur some hope in the 37th minute, but it wasn't to be. All over here at Amy Park, Victory up to 4th, courtesy of a 4-1 win over the Bulls. Well, Victory, in recent weeks, Eric, it's always looked as though they might concede, that this was their Achilles heel that was going to cause them problems throughout the season. When they play like that, when they put sides to the sword, it's a different story.